My name's Jess Anderson. High blood pressure is a massive problem in the United States. And you can see from this graph from the CDC that 66.7% of all Americans over the age of 60 have been diagnosed with hypertension. That's high blood pressure. Because of high blood pressure is such a problem, automatic blood pressure machines were invented to take people's blood pressure. Today I'll be demonstrating how to use a vital signs machine like this to take blood pressure and other vital signs, as well as I'll go over an explanation of the vital signs that it takes. The four vital signs are temperature, oxygen saturation or SpO2, blood pressure, and heart rate or pulse. Dr. Goldberg of the University of California at San Diego stated that these vital signs provide critical information, hence the name vital, about a patient's state of health. So these things are all extremely important to every doctor, nurse. Anytime you go to a hospital, they'll be taking these because they're extremely important. They're vital to the patient's health. The first one is temperature. The average body temperature is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and if this changes up or down by 1 degree, it can indicate a serious problem with the body, whether fever if it's higher or hypothermia if it's lower. Temperature is usually measured in a few different ways. The most common is orally. It's placed under the tongue. The next is rectally, placed in the rectum. And then there's also temporally, which is over the forehead, which is what you're seeing a lot now with a lot of children because people don't like putting things in children's mouth. And then there's also axillary, which is under the armpit, which is also very common with children. The next parameter in vital signs is blood pressure. Now, blood pressure is it consists of two numbers: your systolic, which is your top number, and your diastolic, which is your bottom number. The systolic is the amount of pressure that is in the arteries while your heart compresses. So while it beats, that top number is the amount of pressure that's in the arteries at that point. And the diastolic is how much pressure is in the arteries in between the beats. So when the heart is not contracting, that's the bottom number's pressure at that point. The next one is heart rate or pulse. That's just how many beats per minute your heart performs. That can indicate several problems if it's too high or too low. It also goes hand in hand with blood pressure, high blood pressure. The next one is oxygen saturation, which is it's also called SpO2. What it is it measures how much oxygen is in your blood, how much oxygen has attached to your red blood cells. So this tells the doctors and the healthcare professionals how well your lungs and heart are working together to provide oxygen to your body. So with all those things, this is an example of a vital signs machine or vital signs monitor that nurses and doctors will use to measure your vital signs. It gets pretty noisy, it beeps a lot, but we'll go ahead and turn it on and do a few tests on it. So temperature, like I stated, it's usually taken in the mouth, under the tongue. So you put a probe cover on it, you place it under your tongue, and you wait for it to take a reading. So my temperature is 99.0 degrees, which is within the 1 degree of 98.6, so I am normal. The next one is, we'll do is oxygen saturation, which just, this is the finger probe that is used. There's an LED light right there, and then it has a sensor on the other end, so just that light goes through your finger and measures the oxygen in your blood. Just put it on right here, and it'll actually do two of the parameters. It's actually going to do the heart rate right here, that's your beats per minute, and then the oxygen saturation, 98. As long as it's over 90, you're generally normal. And then my pulse rate is kind of high because I'm speaking in front of people. And then that's all it is. It just takes that, it gives you the number, and that's it. The last one is blood pressure. The cuff is placed on the arm. Lined up with the artery mark, and then it presses the blood pressure button. It pumps up, and it takes a couple, probably usually about a minute or so, maybe less if we're lucky. And it will give us our systolic reading and our diastolic reading, which is, as I spoke before, those are the different pressures when your heart's beating. Normal blood pressure is around 120/80. I usually run a little bit high, so it'll probably stop around there. Well, 162/80. I'm probably because I'm a little nervous. Then it goes a little bit higher. And I'm standing. So that's the basics of how a vital signs machine works. I went over the four basic vital signs of your temperature, blood pressure, heart rate, and SpO2. These are all extremely important. With that, that's it. I mean, so as long as people know about this, it can help save people's lives. It's a great tool for people to use, and it's great for patients to understand what's happening to their bodies. Thank you.